We are joined by attorney Jeff O'Brien for our weekly 3 and Out, 3 sports stories, and let's get right to them. This one is a good one. President Trump is saying he doesn't want to give any help to the Washington Commanders about getting a new stadium unless they change the name back to Washington Redskins. Why can't he just let that go? I mean, I liked it when it was the Redskins. I didn't mind it, but it is the one team where I did see, I could see that could be a problem with some Native American tribes being called Redskins. Now, the Cleveland Indians, I didn't see any problem with that. They became the Guardians. He wants that to happen too, right?
Yeah. It's interesting. So, and as I understand the backdrop on this, Bob, is that the Commanders want to build a new stadium inside of Washington, D.C.
Yes.
Which I believe does require the federal government's approval and assistance, which would then put them in the president's crosshairs to do something like this. So, hey, we can put cane sugar back in Coca-Cola. We can put the Redskins name back in the Washington NFL team, right? I used to be with you, Bob. I was saying this seems like real kind of a derogatory slur. Why do they have it? Blah blah blah. As I understand it, since then is the drawing of the Redskin on the side of the helmet was an actual person. And there were members of his tribe that were very upset by the removal of the name. And there actually is a petition drive to restore the name.
Well, you know what? If Native American groups don't care, then I'm not going to raise a stink about it.
What I think this is part of, Bob, this is it's consistent in terms of the president's push to overturn any of the political correctness, cancel culture attitude
Wokeness,
that started going back to the Obama days, but when they were canceling the Redskins trademark and renaming Mount Everest and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think this is what he's going at. Is you want a stadium there? Great. You're going back to where you were. We're done with this. So interesting to see how it plays out. He's talking about an executive order. He's not going to do an executive order telling a private business to change their name.
No, he can't do that.
But he certainly could gum up the stadium funding, if they, with this whole thing. So I guess get your popcorn ready. We'll see how this goes.
Well, I mean, if you're also the Redskins or the Commanders or whatever the heck they're going to be called eventually, why do you want to be back in D.C.? What's the benefit?
I will say they picked the wrong name. They should have been the Washington Tyranny, so you can say that you beat back the Washington Tyranny. But
the tyrants are tyranny. I like that.
I just call them the commies. I think it's appropriate.
Yeah.
So I actually think the Commander's name actually works because if you call them the commies. So.
Yeah, well, I know that there used to be, that was the hot ticket among all politicians, both sides of the aisle for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is now. All right. Now, how hot is the ticket? These WNBA players, they just don't know how to read the room. What is it that their T-shirt said during the All-Star game? And even Caitlin Clark wore one.
Well, she wore one, but if you look at the photo, it looks like she's got a gun pointed to her head. I mean, she was not happy about it. She's doing it to get along because they
hate her.
They just go at her all the time, constantly, and assault her on the court practically. Yeah. So they had WNBA All-Star game was this weekend. Napheesa Collier from the Lynx that had a really good game, set a record, I think 36 points. Her team beat Team Clark, but Team Clark was without Caitlin Clark because she was out with an injury. But yeah, in warm-ups they wore these shirts called "Pay Us What You Owe Us," and they keep pointing out how much less they make than NBA players.
Well, of course,
because here's the thing: the WNBA continues to be subsidized by the NBA. It doesn't make money. The old joke was, if you did revenue share or profit sharing the way that the NBA does.
They'd be writing checks.
WNBA players would owe money.
Yes, that's what what can't they see here? They are not anywhere. Okay, here's the thing that they don't get: they're not anywhere near the level of the NBA, and whatever money. It sounds like some fish just disappeared on your screen. Any money that they're making now is because of Caitlin Clark, who they despise. Yeah. This is what I don't get. How they don't understand where the money's coming from.
I mean, the league has been around a long time, but it really hasn't had the star power until now. It's still kind of nascent. I mean, you look at right now, if you were to rattle off like elite level players, I can name 3 of them: Caitlin Clark, Naphesia Collier, and Paige Beckers. I wouldn't even put Angel Reese in there. Angel Reese is, when you watch enough videos of her, she gets known as a good rebounder. When you see that she has 5 rebounds on her own shots in one pass down to the basket. The shine comes off her star a little bit.
Well, at best, she's a female version of Dennis Rodman. I mean, that because he could rebound the heck out of the ball, but you weren't getting much offense out of him.
Yeah, but she's just rebounding her own missed shots.
Okay, well, that's another issue. Good point. Yeah, the big numbers she's putting up. That's what they should do. Take out the rebounds of her shots that she keeps missing, and then let's see what her numbers are. That's a great point.
Right. So that was in this league they just cannot seem to get out of their own way with always trying to make the statements about politics and social justice and everything else. And it's like just play the damn game.
Yeah, you know what? And I the only interest I have in the WNBA is Caitlin Clark, and I'm kind of losing interest in that as well because she keeps caving because she's trying to be liked. She's never going to be liked. She can wear all the shirts she wants. They're not going to like her because she's making a lot more money than they are. I mean, for her to wear that shirt, that's really inappropriate because you're making plenty of dough.
Mm-hmm. But you can see, like I said, you can see the look on her face. Like, I guess I have to do this.
Yeah, if she didn't wear it, it would have really looked bad to her fellow WNBA players. All right, let's move on to item 3. Something about the Loons.
Item 3, a little fun one. So the Minnesota United. They have their alternate kit, their alternate jerseys that they debuted last week, just like the Wild have theirs, where they use the old North Stars colors with the Wild logo. The Loons did an homage to the old Minnesota Kicks that played out at Met Stadium.
Now the Loons are a soccer team, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I know that, but I don't care. I mean, a lot of people don't.
It's the thing is, I've never been a big soccer fan, Bob. Our firm had a suite there a couple weeks ago, and so I went, and it was actually it was the overall experience was fun. The game ended in a 0-0 tie. It was an exhibition.
Oh, high scoring one, huh?
Well, it was an exhibition game against that German team, so they weren't going to like shootouts and overtimes and stuff like that. One Loons player hit the pipe, and that was as close as anybody got to a goal. But I will say this, where some of the other stadiums are, have all the corporate sponsors for beer and everything else. They've got signage for all the local breweries. They got a big craft beer area.
Well, that's why you like it, because you represent all the craft beer companies in town.
Yeah, a few of mine may have been advertised during the game. Yeah, but it's it was a nice experience. I hadn't got a chance to get over to see Allianz Field yet. I missed it when the Tommies and Johnnies were playing over there.
That's the only time I was there.
Yeah, and they ripped the field up. I honestly think, Bob, that there was a plan for the Tommies to use that as their home stadium until that game where they destroyed the turf, and then the Loons lost the next day in their playoff game, and the Tommies and Johnnies.
You blame them. You know what? The field was ripped up for the other team as well, so they should have quit their whining.
Yeah. But it was fun.
Turf in. Well, they don't like turf, do they?
Kind of fun to have the old to see the old Kicks colors, and kind of they had Loons written in like the Kicks.
I don't even know what the Kicks colors were. What were the Kicks colors?
They were orange and blue.
Orange and blue. Oh, that's exciting. Did you actually go to Kicks games when you were a kid?
No.
Why was it exciting?
I remembered them. I remember. I don't think I went to any games, but you remember in the 80s they had the indoor team. They had the Strikers that played down at the Dome.
Yeah, I remember the Strikers. Which one did Tino Lettieri play for? Did he play for both of them?
I think he played for. No, he played for the Strikers. I think Alan Merrick, who was the coach of the Strikers, played on the Kicks.
Okay, so the Kicks preceded the Strikers.
Correct.
All right. Now it's all coming to me. I think I got to ask my wife. I think before she became a Vikings cheerleader, she cheered for one of those soccer teams, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to check with her. We'll find that out. All right. Now, like an item 3A or 4, only because it's worth mentioning. Well, it is worth mentioning, and it's more important to all the Viking fans in town and all the football and sports fans in Minnesota. Vikings open camp this week. That's a big deal. Huge.
Yep. Yeah, this is the beginning of the J.J. McCarthy era. So,
well, for their sake and his, hopefully he doesn't get banged up or hurt in training camp, because then who's going to be Sam Howell. He'll be people I know that a lot of the Gopher fans will be pushing for Brosmer, right?
Yeah.
Maxey, see what he can do, but I don't think that's going to come to that.
I think they're, you got JJ throwing to Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. You got Hawkinson back this year. If Aaron Jones can stay healthy and have, and play well, I think they've got a very potent offense. So.
Yes, they do, and their defense should be better. All right, Jeff, as always, greatly appreciated. Attorney Jeff O'Brien with our weekly 3 and Out. Take a quick break. The BS Show will be right back. Hey, this is Bob Sansevere, and I want to tell you about my go-to theater for movies on the big screen, St. Michael's Cinema. Great seating, great popcorn, great food. By the way, real butter on that popcorn. Here to tell you more is Shelley Oslos, the manager at St. Michael's Cinema.
Every auditorium does have at least a couple rows of recliners. The balcony levels in the larger theaters are all recliner.
Yep, phenomenal.
Those also connect right up to the bar. We've got the full bar on the second floor. Some other things that we've got in the building on Tuesdays up at the bar, we've got trivia. On Wednesdays, we've got poker. In Auditorium 15, we've got live music. So we've got way more than movies. It's definitely the place to be. We've got something for everyone.
If you need new auto glass, there's only one place to call. All Auto Glass. I used them recently. They replace windows on my car and truck. They have mobile service. They have up-to-date technology. They will calibrate vehicles that require it. Great cash prices if you don't have insurance, and a lifetime warranty on their replacements as long as you own your car. They work with all insurance companies, cover the entire Twin Cities metro area, and use quality products and workmanship. Check them out at allauto.com. That's allauto.com. Is inflation making you feel frustrated and out of control when it comes to your expenses? We have a solution. Solidarity Health Share. With Solidarity Health Share, you control what doctors you go to, what your dollars support, and how much you spend with pricing options that start as low as $384 for families. Go to solidarityhealthshare.com for more information or call 844-609-0077. That's 844-609-0077.
They're back.